Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pit Road Productions. It's a Monday night, and we are here with the WDCR SCCA Virtual Racing League, this time at Oulton Park International with no chicanes. Well, it's going to be an absolute belter. So far, we've had the pleasure of multiple battles. It's been an absolute joy. But you know what, Rob, why don't you tell us some of your thoughts about what we're going to see here tonight at Oulton Park?
Well, Zippy, I'm sure we're going to see a whole lot of exciting battles as we've seen in the first three races so far this season. So they've shaped out real well. This layout should actually work real well with the M2s. They're nimble enough to make it around the tight confines, but they also got enough speed where they can get up and go on the short straights and try and make a maneuver. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of excitement as we've seen. This league has no doubt provided all kinds of excitement so far, and I expect to see more tonight here.
I got to agree. Certainly, we've had the pleasure of both this and another league where we get to watch the M2, one of the newer cars here in iRacing, and certainly the racing action has for sure delivered. But speaking of the action, let's take a quick peek at the schedule and see where we've been and where we're going. So, ladies and gentlemen, we started at Summit Point, went over to Oran Park in Australia, off to Mugello, and now we're at Oulton Park. So Oran and Oulton sound a bit similar, with Road America going to be where we're heading to next week. And then in the closing parts of the season, we're off to some more American beauties, ladies and gentlemen. Mid-Ohio, Belle Isle, VIR, Sebring, and then my personal favorite track, Road Atlanta. But it's for sure going to be a absolute belter of an event, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly one that I've been looking forward to there. As you can see, we are indeed in England. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have some championship points for you coming up in just a moment. But certainly, as it stands right now, Ken Housel is sat on that top step doing everything he can to try and secure a nice P1. But if you give me 1 second here, let's take a quick look at the championship standings. Rob, do the honors, sir.
And we see DJ Alessandrini up top of the standings. I haven't checked yet to see if DJ's checked into the server. I know he was a late shower last week, but we'll see if he shows up. Ken Housel, currently sitting on top of qualification, is sitting in second overall in the standings. Colin Denner, another perennial top favorite we've seen, currently holding down third spot overall in the championship. Andrew Pilata is in fourth. Michael Montello, the younger of the Montello brothers, in fifth. Mike S. Leader, not the dentist, in sixth. Kevin Zhu in seventh. Adam Kobach in eighth. Brian Carwell currently sitting in ninth, and Reed Shannonbrook rounds out the top 10. I'm actually surprised, Zippy, to see Jack Chrissy back there. He's shown a lot of speed so far this season, but had some unfortunate incidents, so he'll be looking to definitely improve his 11th place in the standings as it stands right now.
Absolutely. You can certainly see Jack Chrissy there in 11th, Marcus Pine in 12th, Anthony Montanello in 13th, with Wu Long in 14th, and Franz Hansen in 15th. And that closes out our top 15, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got to say, absolutely incredible participation so far as we look down the order. Ladies and gentlemen, it keeps going. We've had a grand total of 43 cars be part of this series so far, which honestly is absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what we want to see. But ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can get an on board with somebody. I'm going to try and get the man himself, the legend, the one and only Ken Housel, and we'll see if we can get an onboard lap with him very, very shortly.
Yeah, it looks like we're trying to pick up Ken here. Looks like he's just started the lap here, Zippy, or is he heading into the... Okay, he's just starting early on, heading down into the first left-hand sweeper. Real easy to drop a tire on the left-hand side and just lose the back end of the car around there. See Ken holding it tight into that heavy bank corner. That's probably your first real opportune overtaking opportunity on this track. We're running the layout without the no chicanes, so the international layout with no chicanes. Real high-speed run up this straight here. Fortunately, no real braking section at the end. Normally we'd be slowing down here to take those chicanes. We're not running them tonight. We're going to run right up into this large, fast right-hand sweeper. To be careful not to run it wide into the grass. That wall comes up really quick. So little left-right combo here into a quick little right-hander. They're already through 3/4 of the lap here, Zippy, about to head back into the start-finish section. 2 more corners to go, and then that'll complete a quick lap with Ken Housel here. We see 1:35 lap time, so real quick one here tonight. Not a whole lot of room for the drivers to breathe. They're going to really be on it the whole time.
Well, it certainly is on the Zippy approved track list. As we see Ken there, is he going to improve? We'll find out in just a few short moments. Don't get me wrong, he is already on that top step, and no, this time not able to improve. But let's have a look, check in with a couple of these guys and see if we got anybody hitting some absolutely belter of a sectors. It looks like Will Young, he's got a couple of things to go. But we're going to check in with Michael Montello. Actually, let me just find him here. Currently yet to post a time. Actually, we're going to see, can he make an improvement? There's still about 6 minutes left of qualifying. Hadn't posted a time. We're going to see if that time comes in, ladies and gentlemen. We've certainly got our eyes on the timing board right now, and perhaps that lap not yet counted, or maybe just an out lap so far.
Yeah, I'm showing it looks like he put in a 35.4, but I'm not sure if that was a dirty lap possibly. But yeah, he's not registered anything on the board right now, so it'll be interesting to see if Michael's able to pick up the pace. We actually haven't seen a time from either Montello brother yet, which is kind of rare. We're used to seeing them kind of mid to the front of the pack battling it out, but we'll see if they find some pace here, Zippy, as we go along. As we're getting into the tail end of qualifying here, only a little less than 6 minutes to go.
Well, certainly, you know,
with this, I think this is Anthony, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is indeed Anthony Montello, and we're going to see him as he goes around. And I've got to admit, that corner there, I think is going to be one of the prime overtaking opportunities. Certainly, we are missing one of the chicanes that you would usually find just here. If you keep your eyes on the left, you can see that portion of track. But this is going to be one of the fastest parts of the track, ladies and gentlemen. You can see they're already up to 210, 220, 228 kilometers an hour into a very fast right-hander. Certainly, as you head over that part, it's almost like a little bit of a blind apex. You have to cut the corner tighter than you would expect, and certainly the car can get incredibly loose just here. But I think for me, one of the biggest passing opportunities is going to be in the final corner we're about to see in just a few short moments. But certainly that is not an issue for Montello, as he's absolutely hammered down. Anthony Montello, can he get not just a time on the board, but shoot himself up through the standings as Colin Denner, full orange sectors there?
Yeah, definitely. Colin's on a bit of a mission with this lap. Currently sitting in second spot, 200s back of Ken Housel. He's pushing to try and pip that spot from Ken, but he's running out of time as it's still cutting down on the qualifying. It looks like Anthony Montello gets a little squirrely there as to gather it up, as see him do a little bit of shake and bake on the front straight as he's heading around to start up another lap heading through Cascades. He's going to run through the little short straight of Lakeside, but I think that was an off track there as he just dropped a tire a little farther out in the grass than generally iRacing allows you. But coming in through the island bend into the famous shell corner, this super fast bank corner, heavy onto the binders into the corner. Thankfully, that banking is going to help you stay on track, and we're going to see a lot of cars late break there, Zippy, and try and dive underneath. Hopefully they don't drift out wide and push their fellow competitor off track.
Well, I got to admit, on the historic layout of this, I did actually forget that hairpin at the end, that bank section you were on about, I did on occasion do a race where I forgot that was there, and may have indeed had a little bit of collateral damage with some other vehicles, which actually worked in my favor, ladies and gentlemen. So that is a winning strategy, albeit a frowned upon one. Unintentionally on that occasion, but certainly it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And that corner, though, we suspect that he got an off track, probably one of the most harsh off track zones in the entire iRacing service. Not that I'm biased, but certainly generally I'm quite in agreement with a lot of the off track zones, but certainly I believe it would be turn 3 would be the best description for it. That left hander as you head down before the banked hairpin, incredibly tight on the regulations there. Actually, I'm going to point out exactly which corner it is in just a second. It's not this one. Just a few corners to go. Rob, you're going to know exactly which one I'm on about.
Yeah, it's coming up here. I believe it's called Cascade, Zippy. It's the bane of almost every iRacing driver's existence here. It looks like you have plenty of room to run off onto the right. You got that kind of cement block AstroTurf area where you'd love to just run it out wide, but iRacing says, no, son, you're getting the nice. I think it's pretty steep, too. It's almost a 1 second slowdown, I think, for dropping a tire out there. So it's really harsh, as you mentioned. You definitely don't want to be doing that in the race. It's easy to lose 1, 2, 3, even 4 positions if you go out too wide there, Zippy.
Oh, absolutely. Certainly the slowdowns. We have all been a victim of that at some point, but it does appear that it's just the Montello brothers who are currently on the track. And actually, as you say that, Michael Montello in the green and gold livery, probably my favorite color car on the grid. It's actually just literally the Montello brothers who are kind of, keeping the show going at this point. I feel it's almost a parade lap at this point, certainly doing everything they can and successfully getting as much screen time as possible. But honestly, when you drive a car like that, who can really blame them?
Yeah, well, they showed up a little late for quali, so they're getting all their money's worth here, Zippy. But currently on board here with Michael, he's moved himself up into 5th. See if he improves that lap. No, looks like a little bit slower, 135.7. That's going to keep him in 5th spot. And I believe he was the last driver on track. So we got about a minute to go in the clock. Nobody's going to be able to put in another lap, but that's where we're at here, Zippy.
Well, I do believe so. We're going to have to wait for them results to actually come in fully. Currently, with some time still left on the track, very much still up in the air. But you know what? Let's take this time to have a quick look at our sponsors. And I've got a feeling that we're going to take just a few seconds here. Rob, are you more prepared than myself, sir?
I wasn't actually ready for you, Zippy. I'll be honest.
Me neither.
I was scrambling to try and find them as soon as you mentioned that, but
well, I tell you what, I've got them up so just here. So let's start with OG Racing, ladies and gentlemen. They carry just what you need to get to the track, from driving suits and shoes to helmets, data, and video systems to your favorite brake pads from Performance Friction, Hawk, and Pagid. OG Racing has built its reputation over the last 22 years by providing the best customer service in the motorsports business. That is a damn good business to be in, ladies and gentlemen. Our depth of inventory is second to none when it comes to safety equipment. That's why we have been the highest volume Sparco distributor for 17 years. It's not just on their website, it's at their Sterling, Virginia, 12,000 square foot warehouse as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, a one-stop shop if you need some racing goodies.
Definitely. And again, we have Radial Tire as one of our sponsors this evening. Since 1976, Radial Tire has been providing the Washington DC area with quality tires and the finest service. They've earned a reputation as premier specialists in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications. They stock tires from all the top manufacturers for whatever you drive, small economy cars, SUVs, and race cars, all the like. Their mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and your car. So if you need some rubber under that machine, go see Radio Motorsport. I think Zippy's got the standings from qualifying up now.
Well, definitely not trying to hurry you along there, sir. Just trying to make sure we do what we need to do here in the booth, and sometimes that can be busier than others. But Colin Denner actually takes the top spot. Actually, we got is he in the chat now? We got Michael Decker in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies there. Colin Denner's pretty happy. Certainly, he's out on the pole with Ken Housel ousted from that top spot into second. Dylan Newhart, I don't believe I've seen his name yet. He's there in third with Andrew Pilota in fourth. One of the Montello brothers, ladies and gentlemen, he takes fifth. It's Michael in fifth with Will Long in sixth. Oh my gosh, they told us a short name. I think they called him Wally in seventh. Yeah, Wally in seventh with Mike Leader in eighth. Tyler Sadiq, certainly he was away last week. Had to pick up somebody from the airport, I believe. He's in ninth with Kevin Zhu in 10th.
Yeah, and then we pick up Ryan Carwile in 11th, Chris Harp in 12th, Jack Christie's going to start 13th, Will Robbins in 14th, Jonathan Crane in 15th, Luke Cantor is going to start 16th, Anthony Montello in 17th, Marcus Pine in the 18th spot, Eddie Kikarakis in 19th, and Adam Kobach going to round out the top 20.
And as we have a look at the end of that, there's definitely some anomalies in here, ladies and gentlemen. At 21st, we've got Louis Alessi. He's there with 22nd being John Holloway. 23rd has Tom Radford with 24th as Jarrett Page. And then apparently myself is in there for Zippy on the mic with no time, as is Shelby Martin. We did have a little bit of difficulty being able to connect to the session this evening, ladies and gentlemen, but thankfully we're in. And it looks like these guys are just about getting ready to move off from the grid. Look at that. Now that's timing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely fantastic timing.
Almost like he planned it that way.
I can't sell that, Rob, but we'll take it where we can get it.
Well, thankfully, it looks like we got a short pace lap here tonight, Zippy, as cars are starting in the middle of, I believe that's the 13-14 turn complex. So we should be getting under racing very shortly.
Oh, absolutely. And certainly this is on the Zippy-approved tracks, and I've had a lot of fun actually racing here, albeit the historic layout in the F1600 recently, albeit with a somewhat mixed success. I am getting requests to see Colin's helmet as well. I don't believe we have a camera set up for it, but I will see what I can do. Maybe might be able to set something up very loosely a little bit later. It might be a next week thing, but certainly we'll do our best to keep an eye out. As I gotta say, the person on the second row. Absolutely incredible paint. I'm not sure whose face it is, but ladies and gentlemen, go, 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 go. And Colin Denner in the Haribo machine is absolutely doing what he can. That's Dylan Newhart in the... well, I guess the wallpaper pasted M2 on the inside line now, with Kevin Housel currently sitting in third. And so far, everything's looking good. Everything's looking clean as these guys already find out. As I see a little bit of contact a bit further back through the grid, I do wonder... Oh my gosh, we've got about 4 wide here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's go time, Zippy. I'm almost hoping that Dylan Newhart finishes on the podium, because I think we need to talk to him to find out whose face is plastered all over the side of that car, especially if he happens to run into somebody out there whose face he's trying to jam into the rear bumper of the car. Oh no, we see one of the Montello brothers turning. Is that Jack Chrissy, I believe, the 6th car?
That is indeed Jack Chrissy and Anthony Montello having a little bit of a contact there. That is certainly not what either of these guys had in mind. And I've got a suspicion that car may be a little bit wounded from that. We're going to have a look very shortly. But currently battles happening throughout the field as these guys are going to try and get into single file as quickly as possible. As that's an off track there for Chris Harp, taking the scenic route, planting some seeds in the grass and putting him incredibly vulnerable as Ryan Carwile and Will Robbins are making their way by. And I believe Luke Cantor as well.
Yeah, we saw there, we mentioned it in the pre-show, Zippy. You drop a tire off, or you move your car into the grass a little too far, it's easy to lose a number of spots here. And unfortunately for Chris Harp, we just saw that play out live. So we go back to a quick replay here, look, see what happened. Looks like he had to check up for the cars ahead of him. Oh, this is Jack Chrissy. We see Jack getting a little help from Montello in behind. I think it was just a matter of concertine effect, all the cars coming into that corner, and it just happened to trickle back to them, and that's what resulted in that.
Definitely very easily done, especially with the cold tires. But we're going to check in very quickly at the lead. Colin Denner is currently up there in P1. So you want to see the pole's head. I don't know what's going on in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe I'm missing something out of context here. Rob, maybe you're getting a better understanding of this than I am, but... I have a feeling it may involve this gentleman here, Dylan Newhart. Certainly, maybe a little bit of trolling on in the chat. And Michael Decker describing the off track there by one of our competitors as going agricultural, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, Dylan Newhart currently has dropped down 1 place into P4. Andrew Pallotta has managed to take P3 away from him. Who actually we've seen great form from Pallotta so far. I believe he got a podium last week, but certainly don't hold me to it as the front field already starting to spread out. Kevin Zhu, though, he's already going at it with Michael Montello.
Yeah, nice run so far for Kevin Zhu. We've seen him up and around the thick of it. Him and usually mention it every session. Him and Carwile seem to find themselves in the thick of most of the action, but right now Zhu putting a lot of pressure on Michael Montello, trying to take over P5, currently held down by Montello. Montello doing well to hold Zhu off as it stands. They got Newhart in the facial recognition machine up ahead, but he's starting to open up a little bit of gap on Montello as he's trying to hold off Zhu, and I believe that is Wally in behind Zhu. So strong showing for Wally right now, holding down to his P7 spot. We'll see if he's able to try and make a maneuver around Zhu, if he's just going to wait and hopefully try and take an opportunity if Zhu's able to open up Montello and slip on through.
Well, hopefully he doesn't literally open him up. As we can see here, there is more battles happening, and that looks like Luke Cantor was looking to make a move there, and as a result has run wide. Oh my gosh, I don't know what just happened there.
Oh,
that was chaos. We're going to have to take another look at that. What on earth happened there? So this is a replay. Oh, he's caught the grass. Managed to get the car slowed down a little bit, but what gets me is I've seen a, boink, just clip somebody on the rejoin. I definitely don't think it was intentional, but certainly not what they had in mind. A little bit of a server disconnect there for a second, and yeah, not the result that Luke Cantor was looking for. And I believe he's still parked there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he had there he goes. Not sure if he had a little bit of equipment issues or something. There's the guys mentioned he kind of blinked out for a second, but unfortunate there. I'm not sure what car that was that he got involved with, but they were sent off deep onto the right-hand side. You can actually, if you go far enough over on the right-hand side of that area, I'm sure you're well aware of this, Zippy, there's a nice jump you can take with the berm there and clear about 20, 30 feet up in the air. So I was hoping at one point in time that car wasn't going to go all the way over there and just fly into the oncoming traffic, but thankfully we got slowed up in time.
Well, certainly I have been very familiar with taking on board that jump. As we can see here from the back of Kevin Zhu, he's doing everything he can, and he's currently got Wally right behind him, who's definitely flirting with the track limits a little bit there. As you can see, very close battle so far. He's currently in 6th place, actually not quite a hard charger, but certainly doing very well. Up 4 positions, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, if we have a look on the timing tower right now, you can see himself and Will Robbins up 4 positions. As I say that, Ryan Carwile's just gone and took a position from him. Will Robbins shut down 2, but Marcus Pine currently, nope. This gentleman here, John Holloway, up 6 positions, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, nice run for Holloway. I think we just saw Mike Leader go off in the grass on the right-hand side there. I'm not sure if he was able to gather it up or if he got collected up in the tire barrier, but I don't see him anymore, so I think he might have got back underway. See here, he goes off into the right-hand side. That tire barrier comes up real quick. He manages to avoid it, thankfully for him, and rejoins nicely without coming back into traffic. So a little bit of a scare, I'm sure. See that tire barrier coming up quick. That's going to drop him all the way back into 9th spot, down from 1 spot from where he qualified.
Well, definitely not what he was looking for, but I do believe that this battle is starting to spice up a little bit for what could turn out to be P2. Ken Housel is currently sat there. Colin Denner pulling away, and certainly he's going to capitalize on the absence of DJ Alessandrini, the man, the machine, the guy who can drive with 2 different hands, 2 different cars. And certainly Ken Housel is going to have to keep his foot down pretty hard, keep that M2 certainly under control as well, because as much as power is fun and oversteer is enjoyable, it can be a race-ending mistake there. As you can see, a couple of little corrections on the brakes, as I do believe Pilotta is actually reeling him in a little bit, lap by lap.
Yeah, Denner had opened up a bit of a gap, but last time by there, looks like Ken Housel put in the fast lap of the race with a 35.9. So he's starting to reel in Denner. You can see the gap getting a little shorter there, but it looks like he's bringing along Pilotta and Newhard with him. So we'll see if they're able to form up here and chase down Denner. Denner might be just putting it on cruise control right now, trying not to push more than he needs to maintain that gap, which is always a smart move. You don't want to be pushing at 10 tenths at all the time, Zippy, and try and pull it back about 9 tenths, 8 tenths if you can to manage that gap.
Well, certainly talent is something I am often on short supply, especially when it comes to driving these cars. I entered a race in one of these the other day, and I failed on a whole other level, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, we are going to see if I can sneak to the grid for the final round at Road Atlanta. Surprise, Rob. Hopefully we can get your internet sorted by then. But certainly, that is one of the things on the list. But it looks like Jack Chrissy, despite that incident earlier, is already hot, trying to make his way through the field, down 5 positions right now, and trying to take on one of the hard chargers in the field of John Holloway. Now, can he do it? Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the pressure being applied, as I don't think he's going to be able to do it here. As you go through this little kink to the left, while you can go too wide, I would strongly not suggest it. Carry as much of that momentum as you can, with Holloway doing an excellent job there, making that BMW as wide as possible. But Chrissy's got to run. He's looking for some real estate, and he's going on the outside. Is this going to be a pass on the grass? Holloway leaving some space. I think he realized that Chrissy was coming, and by taking that inside line has managed to avert danger, at least for now.
Yeah, it was excellent battling there by the two of them. A lot of room given. Nobody really pushing the other driver out from where they needed to be. But Jack Chrissy, I think we mentioned in every broadcast, he's got a lot of pace, but seems to get wrapped up in an incident every race. So unfortunately, we saw it again here, but Chrissy on a recovery run now, putting some heavy pressure on the back of Holloway. As you see Chrissy looking to the outside, Holloway using the apex or exit corner as much as he can there, trying to gather up as much exit speed to try and hold Chrissy back. He's opened up a bit of a gap now. Looks like a couple tenths, 2-3 tenths over Chrissy now. Holloway trying to pull away. He's right now trying to focus on chasing down Will Long up ahead. Will Long currently down 10 spots from where he started. Not sure if we caught what happened to Will, but something dropped him all the way down to 16th place.
Oh, I will certainly have a look for that in just a minute, as I believe something's just happened to Kevin Zhu. It says that he went off track. Let's take a quick peek at that. Oh my.
Oh.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Boing.
Oh, heavy hit.
Well, certainly the
Yeah.
Need for Speed liveried M2 is currently a little bit more than cosmetically challenged, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to see if I can find what happened to Will Long in just a few short minutes. But I do believe we have a four-way fight going on. And this man is yet again leading it. It's Ryan Carwell. He always seems to be getting in on the action with Chris Hart behind him, Mike Leader behind him, and Will Robbins not that far behind, about 7/10 of a second. So just about in that drafting range.
Yeah, these are all drivers we've seen involved in some kind of battle or incident so far tonight, so we know they've been all around it. We're on board here with Leader currently in the middle of this 6-car pack, trying to chase down Chris Harp and Ryan Carwell up ahead. Leader looking racy, but he's at the point now where he's trying to chase down the cars out the windshield, but maintaining a defense on the back end too as well. It's always the unenviable position to be in. Oh, we got some wrecks off the right-hand side. I didn't see who that was. I believe that might have been Wally involved in that. If not, I saw him dropping down. It was Wally. We see him getting back on track. I'm not sure who the red car was in behind him. Possibly
That's Tala Sadiq.
So, fortunate for those two, we'll pick up a replay of what happened later on. But that's dropped them back. Wally was showing strong up comfortably in the top 10 until that happened.
Well, I did take a quick look back through the event log, and Will Long, I think he actually returned back to the pits while they were on the pace lap. So something went on there. I'm not sure exactly what, but that would explain why he appears to be dropped heavily through the standings. But let's get a quick look at this replay and find out what happened to these two guys.
Yeah, we see Sadiq following Wally into shell corner. Looks like he thinks about diving the inside, just the door closes. There wasn't enough room. Sadiq didn't quite have enough overlap, and now they're going to play bumper cars here, pushing each other out of the way, but they get gathered up and carried back on. But fortunately enough, that battle we were following at the time, Zippy, they were able to avoid that and not get caught up in it.
Well, certainly it's not how they wanted it to go, but we did say that Ken Hauser was under pressure, and ladies and gentlemen, that pressure has indeed grown. He has Andrew Pilota right behind him. Dylan Newhart is about a second back, so on the very edge of that draft limit. But right now, as we take a peek, ladies and gentlemen, he is applying the pressure to the league admin, currently up one position overall, and in terms of iRating, these guys are very similarly matched. 4,900 versus 4,600 IR, literally about, well, exactly 303 points in it, ladies and gentlemen. Peanuts in the grand scheme of things, but certainly not holding these guys back. And this is exactly what I'm on about. A good demonstration there by Pilota. You've got to cut the first part of that corner to actually hit the apex there. And he is doing everything he can to try and wear down the number 23 of Ken Housel.
Yeah, we've only got 1.4 seconds separating our top three drivers here, Zippy. So they're also the same three drivers we've seen up around the podium spots all season. So it's no surprise that we see them up again. But Housel definitely feeling some pressure from Pilota here. I believe Pilota, as you mentioned, was our P2 podium setter last week. So no doubt we see him with a lot of pace again this week. But they're not letting Denner get away. They've started to close that gap down a little bit. It's just at about 1 second. A few laps ago, I was looking if it's about 1.4, 1.5. So they're slowly pulling them in. They still got plenty of time to do it. We aren't quite at the halfway mark of this 30-minute race. So still plenty of time for these two drivers to try and chase back in the leader of Denner, as long as they don't battle too much and lose some time. It looked like we might have saw Denner just go a little wide there. I think that cost him a couple of tenths. So we're going to have a real tight battle for the lead as we focus back now on Mike Leader as he's trying to chase Will Robbins up ahead in that Valvoline paint scheme car. Looks like Leader might have a little bit of damage on the front of that BMW as he drifts a little wide. Might have got into the rear, looking to the inside of Robbins. Not going to be able to make a move. Robbins closes them off for now. Leader getting a little push there, trying to open up Robbins into shell corner. I think Leader's going to make a move. Robbins covers him off. Thinks better of it. We saw what happened between Sadiq and Wally a lap ago.
Well, certainly can indeed get very, very close, but our experience with the M2 so far is you really have to be, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, if you want to make a pass with these, you have to be riding the bumper of your competitor, and certainly if he makes a pass here, I will be incredibly impressed. He's going to go for it. Oh my gosh.
Crossing him over.
That was brave. And these guys are still going side by side. I honestly can't believe it. Of all the places to try and make a move, that wouldn't have been it. But certainly these guys outstanding demonstration of skill there as the tree is once again blocking our view. We'll try and get rid of that for you, ladies and gentlemen. But Mike Lead is certainly trying to get that one position back and move himself back up to 8th place. Certainly a big battle going there. And then indeed, as my colleague was saying, it looks like the battle is spicing up yet again for P2. I do believe Denner has managed to hold on to that gap, albeit by a second. So that's put Housel just about in the range of a draft. Actually, if we check the last laps, let's see if we can have a look, see what Denner did last lap in comparison. Nope, he keeps pulling away.
0 to Housel's 35.7 last time by, so they took a couple tenths off, but it looks right now that Denner's able to gap that back up again. So I think I might have been right whenever I said Colin's just kind of pushing as hard as he needs to maintain that gap. As on demand as he needs it, he's able to open that gap back up again as we see Leader looking to the inside of Robin, still aggressively trying to find any way around him. Right now, Marcus Pine might be in the best spot on track right now. If something happens between these two, he could pip 2 spots off both of them.
Oh, you can see there, that little bit of a slide there just absolutely obliterated him and trying to stay with these guys. It's opened up the gap to about 0.6 of a second now, and it's got him demoted from being our camera car as these guys are going to go at it side by side again. Huge set of cojones, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what that means, by all means, look in a Spanish dictionary as these guys are absolutely going for it. And I believe this time, Leader's got it done. Will Robbins is relegated back into 9th place.
Yeah, Robbins made him work for it, but it looks like Leader took that spot, but Robbins isn't ready to just bend over, and I better stop that. He's not just going to give it to him right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit of spice here in the Pit Road Productions booth today, and certainly, yeah, we didn't intend to eat it. If anything, we're giving it back out as Marcus Pine is trying everything he can. Slid a little bit wide there. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely trying maybe overdriving the car just a little bit, to which I am definitely guilty of on more than one occasion. But certainly these guys are going hard at it, and I believe Ryan Carwile, yet again, this man is in a battle, this time with the number 462 of Chris Harp.
Yeah, we've seen Harp all around it today, so no surprise he's putting pressure on the back of Carwile, but both of them doing well so far, up into 6th and 7th spot. They're both up 5 spots respectively. A nice run for them as it stands right now, Zippy. Real strong run. Marcus Pine, the guy we were just talking about, though, he's currently our biggest mover, up 8 spots on the day. So we got a few cars that have shown some nice gains, and unfortunately we got a few other cars that have dropped a few spots, namely Will Long, our biggest, I don't want to say loser, but he's lost the most number of spots, currently in 14th at 8th. But as we mentioned, he had that pop back into the pits early on. So we'll see how he falls out. Denner has lost his lead now. 3-car battle for the lead, Zippy. This could get spicy with 12 and a half minutes to go still.
Well, certainly, I'm inclined to agree. I was checking the event log, and I see no report of Denner taking a scenic route, so something has definitely got a bee under the bonnet, and it perhaps may have stung him, as this is exactly what he did not want to happen. Dylan Newhart, he's currently 1.2 seconds back from this lead pack, ladies and gentlemen, so certainly, if these guys battle, he could emerge and end up being a 4-way fight, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly a lot here still to play for, but Denner currently in P1 with Housel in 2nd and Pallotta in 3rd.
Yeah, we see Denner leading them round into turn number 3. Cascades are less than favorite corner, as we mentioned earlier on. All of them staying within track limits by the looks of it that time by. And Newhart just kind of hanging out of the back of draft. You'd love to see these guys battle to get up into that, make it a 4-car battle for the win. But anything can happen here, but it looks like the aggressive nature isn't necessarily at the front. Hauser looking very calm, cool, and collected, and behind Denner now they've got him. Also looks like Pallotta kind of just filed back in line. Looks like 3 cars might actually work together now, Zippy, to try and pull away from Newhart to open up a bit of a gap to lead the battles for the last 5 minutes or so.
I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. These guys, certainly, they have got that gap there to Newhart. He's actually dropped back even further. That gap now about 1.4, 1.5 seconds. So about another 3 attempts been expanded on that. But I do wonder for how long are these guys going to behave and work together. You can see Denner is certainly working very hard. They are very aware of Newhart in that 4th position. But other than that, Montello, he's back in 5th. He's about 2.8 seconds behind Newhart. So certainly, it's still a lot to play for there. But you got to decide, when do you want to make this battle? There's 11 minutes to go. Like, are you in it for the points or are you in it for the fun? And certainly at this point, the guys up at the front, there may be some tactics going on, but I do wonder for how long will that amnesty survive?
Yeah, we're seeing now we're calling Denner for the most part. Has been able to just look at his windshield, Zippy, and just kind of cruise. And now we're at the point where he's having to focus on his rearview mirrors now to keep an idea of where Housel and Pilata are behind him. Make sure that they're not trying to dive down the inside of any one of these corners that he happens to turn into them. But we're seeing Housel and Pilata using a little more of the track through a turn 3 Cascades, trying to maximize their pace. So they're definitely not ready just to let Denner sit and be comfortable there. They kind of try and keep the pressure on him as much as they can here.
Well, I'm starting to think that Pilota is slowly, quietly plotting as that gap again to Newhart has opened up even more. He just can't compete without the draft, and that's no criticism on him. It's just the sheer power of aerodynamics as Will Robbins. He's going back at it again with Mike Leader. These guys almost inseparable with Marcus Pine looking to get in on that as well. Almost a matching team livery there. Very similar color schemes there from Pine and Robbins, and certainly doing everything they can. No one else near him, but Jack Chrissy, he's going at it again. This time with Will Long.
Yeah, Chrissy trying to recover up. You have a couple cars who one popped back to the pits and one had an incident early on, both trying to make their way back up through the field. They've got Wally up ahead. Wally, another car that we saw, had a bit of an incident too as well. As we see Will Long hopping the curb there that had almost up on 4 wheels through that curb. That's going to allow Chrissy to move to the inside. I suspect Chrissy should get this move done into the braking section. Chrissy gets a little squirrely. He has to back out of it. So these two are going to battle through a corner that you really don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on the car beside you. Zippy, for all you know, you can go out real wide and that wall comes in super quick through Druid's corner.
Yeah, we're going to get another camera shot of that, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it was not in our best interest there where we're trying to get the shot. You can see him going out. He actually slid a little bit deep there on the exit, but was able to get it done. It's definitely what he wanted. And that's back up to P13 for Jack Chrissy.
Yeah, nice recovery run so far for Chrissy. Back up to where he qualified. So it's taken him 21 minutes to get there, but he's back to where he started now to try and focus forward and keep moving forward.
You can see here, these guys are still battling. Sorry, go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like we got a good battle still between Harp and Carwile. Zippy for 6th place. These two still sitting about 3/10 back. I'm not sure if they're trying to chase down Montello up ahead. We haven't really seen much of the Montello brothers today. Normally they're in around most of the battles. We saw Anthony, I believe, with that little tangle with Jack Chrissy earlier on, but we haven't really seen much for Michael Montello. He's kind of still in 5th where he qualified, but as we see back behind Harp and Carwile there, we see that battle still raging between Leader, Robbins, and looks like we lost Marcus Pine. Something happened to him. He's gotten allowed. Who is that? Will Robbins? Sorry.
There's a lapped car in between.
Oh, it's a lap car between them, but he separated Pine off the back of Robbins and Leader.
I believe that is Jonathan Crane, who is currently in that purple car.
Okay,
yep, there you go.
Crane. That's correct. Yep. Good call, Zippy.
I got access to the magic buttons, Rob. I'd like to say it was talent as, whoops, Jonathan Crane taking the alternative line there through the final corner.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you want to see when you come around that corner. It's a bit of a elevated blind corner. You definitely don't want to see a pink BMW parked off on the side, but our battle back up front, still status quo. Denner still holding off Housel and Pilata, but I think you might be right, Zippy. I think Pilata right now is kind of biding his time, trying to see where he might be a little better than these guys, maybe gets into the corner a little deeper, a little on throttle earlier than these two, trying to maximize his potential to make a move as we get down to the last 5 minutes or so. We're just at about 6.5 to go in this one, so starting to get into crunch time, but see Andrew Newhart just trying his best in the back there in 4th. Just can't quite find enough draft to gather up to those guys.
Well, certainly.
I really wanted to see who the faces were on his car, but maybe he'll pop into chat and let us know.
Well, certainly, I must say, the incredible consistency from these guys out front. If you're looking at the lap times right now, you can see Housel, 35.8, 35.9, 35.7, 35.6, 35.8. Ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed how to have success in racing. If you look at Pilota as well, a whole string of 35s. If you have a look at Denner, ladies and gentlemen, a very similar story going in. A 36 followed by some 35s, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, I don't have my glasses on, so forgive me if I misread any of those, but certainly the Haribo car currently out in front, doing what it does best and being an absolute gummy bear of a leader.
Hey, sticking to the lead just like gummy bears stick to the roof of my mouth, Zippy.
That's all right. I'll eat your share. Actually, I'm fancying steak right now. Didn't we have some KFC joke or something last week?
I don't remember what it was, but I'm sure it was solid gold.
Well, certainly if it was gold plated, it may not taste that good, but it'd certainly be of value, and that's what we pretty much need now to eat out these days. But certainly that is the beauty of sim racing. It's a lot more cost effective and affordable than doing the real thing, which actually a lot of these guys are fortunate enough to do. Certainly if you guys have more info on your real cars, by all means send us a message about that. Maybe we get Ken to maybe expand. We'll make another tab in the spreadsheet so you guys can tell us a bit about yourselves in real life, and we'll put it out there on the broadcast as well. We did add a channel for you, so if you want to get interviewed during a race, then Michael Decker, that's just as bad as we are. So if you want to get interviewed during the race, then by all means hang out in the race chat in our Discord server, and we may indeed pull you in. But certainly a battle still going on with Marcus Pine. He's a little bit further back, but the main action right now is yet again between the top three. It's Denner, Housel, and Pallotta.
Yeah, Housel putting a lot of pressure on Denner now. I think this is we're in the window now, Zippy, where the gloves are off. It's no more gentlemanly follow the leader here now, as we see Denner taking a bit of a defensive line into turn one, trying to make sure that Housel isn't able to tuck up on the inside. That's going to cost Housel a little bit of time. Pallotta now looking to find a way to pounce on Housel as he dropped a couple tenths back off Denner. Denner was able to kind of back his corner, breaking up there a little bit, back Housel off his rear bumper, but the fight's not over yet, Zippy. We still got plenty of time for these guys to make a move. Denner can't relax yet. He's still got to hold these guys off for another 3.5 4
that
minutes.
Was hot. That was a little bit too hot there. I don't think it was a punt, but certainly maybe a little bit of a opportunistic break, perhaps, or maybe a slight miscommunication there. But certainly Ken Housel certainly giving Colin Denner a very abrupt wake-up call there, with a little bit of a bop to the rear end of that car, and certainly no damage, thankfully, a 0x, and Denner able to control that car. But again, a good demonstration there of how you have to cut that corner. You see Pallotta there getting a little bit of a bounce going as he runs over the curb, yet carrying all that extra speed. Are we going to start to see some moves? Ladies and gentlemen, if it's going to happen, I think the final turn is going to be a place to do it. Housel putting a little bit of a nose up the inside. Is he going to go for it as they head down towards the final turn?
Yeah, Housel definitely putting a whole lot of pressure on Denner. Oh, Housel looking to the inside, filling the mirrors of Denner. Denner holds onto it, but it looks like we have word in chat that Colin is actually a kart racer. But get this, Zippy, his girlfriend races lawnmowers. That is something iRacing needs to bring to the service as soon as possible. You can get out there on your lawnmower. Some of these guys do it naturally just with their BMWs we saw here tonight. But
read my mind.
The legitimate lawnmowers onto the service, that we can have more fun. Looks like they both race in the CKNA. Not sure what area of karting that is, but I'm sure it's a karting for superior drivers like Colin Denner, and karting number 77 in the chat.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We got some real-world experience. Actually, Karting 77, if you want to actually come in and join us in the booth for a little bit, let us know. If you've got Discord and a mic, by all means, we will hook you up. Give us a shout on that in the chat. Let us know if you want to pop into the booth. But right now, the battle is getting even more tense with 2 minutes left to go, ladies and gentlemen. And is this going to be it? Denner looks like he's the closest he's ever been. Pallotta close again. Are we going to see the move? The lead at contention. Positions 1 to 3. This could be the end. If it ends in sadness, then Pallotta will be able to capitalize on that. How hard do you want to fight? The time is clicking down, and you can see Pallotta right on the back bumper of the 23 car of Ken Housel.
Yeah, we're seeing here, Zippy, if you make a move and it doesn't quite pan out the way you want, it's easy to lose time and you fall back into the clutches of the car behind. As we saw Housel kind of look left, look right a little bit on Denner, but wasn't able to make the move, and he fell back into the clutches of Pallotta. Pallotta was right tight up on the back bumper. As we're heading around to the final section here, Colin Denner's managed to open up 3/10 over Housel through that section where we saw Housel really putting pressure on him into turn one last time by. We'll see if Housel is able to regain that pressure. He seems to be a little better through the first sector of the lap than what Denner is. Denner runs a little wide, takes a little landscaping there. Little tip from his girlfriend, I guess, with the lawnmower racing, but Denner's still holding on to P1 for now, Zippy.
I can hear you sniggering in my earpiece there, Rob, and certainly, my kind of humor, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely You know what, Pit Road Productions, we do like to have a lot of fun in the booth, and certainly we hope that you guys enjoy it as well. I mean, that's why we're here, right? We're here to give you guys a good experience. But you can see there from the view of Andrew Pilota, he's trying everything he can, and I do believe they're on the white flag lap as well. The time is ticking down. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, these guys have been nose to tail for the majority of the race. Denner had a good lead. It slowly was ebbed away by the likes of Pilota and at times Dylan Newhart as well. But this could be the final chance for these guys to try and make a move for that top spot on the podium. Ooh, huge air.
Yeah, this is all for the marbles here, Zippy. It looks like Housel's not going to be quite close enough to make a move into Druid's corner. That's probably his last real opportune chance to make a move, although he gets a little later on the brakes. He needs a real strong run here to get a chance at making a move into Lodge corner, turn 16 and 17. But it looks like Denner's going to hold him off for now, barring any off-track excursion here. But Denner goes a little wide, makes the car as wide as possible. Housel's look to the inside. Denner crosses him back over. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Looks like Denner's going to hold him off. Housel will have to settle for second, and Andrew Pilota is going to bring it home in third.
That was incredibly close, but we're going to keep going because there is still a battle going on, and this time between Ryan Carwile and Chris Harp. Can Harp get it done? It's the final corner. He's pushed a little bit wide, and that is exactly what the 71 and Carwile needed. That is the end of it for that, but we've got another battle going on. It's side by side. It's Wally and Chrissy, and a little bit of a nose cut off there almost, as Chrissy is there ahead. A little bit of a tank stopper by Wally, and is this going to open the door for Will Young? No, not quite. There wasn't quite enough real estate, but an incredible send at the end by Jack Chrissy.
Yeah, well done. It looked like it was going to end in tears there for a moment, but they managed to gather everything up. Like Wally was about to send Chrissy off into the nether realm again, but matter of inches there on that one, Zippy.
Definitely incredibly close, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there, just able to snake that away. But what an absolutely fantastic race. And this time, most of the action coming indeed from the lead battle. Certainly, Ryan Carwile actually incredibly tame there, as were the Montello brothers. Certainly, we've seen great action from them before, but a little bit quiet this time around compared to their usual standings.
Yeah, it's Michael Montello finishing in fifth. That's where we normally see him, but not the run for Anthony Montello that he definitely would have had out here today, Zippy, that's for sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we get them results in, we are going to be very happy to share them with you. But what an absolute belter of a race, ladies and gentlemen. And actually, we got Colin Denner. Colin, he snuck in. I see Colin. Obviously, you get yourself a race win and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get in on the interview. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how that went. Certainly, you had a beautiful lead to start with. And then what occurred there?
Well, it was just a normal race, if you ask me. Just had to keep Ken and Andrew at bay. I did get a nice start. I don't know exactly how I got that start, but I was able to keep a pretty solid gap between myself and Ken for the most part of the race. And then as they started closing the gap a little bit, I just had to put my head down. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, certainly it did look like you had an incredible battle going on there, and we are going to wish you congratulations and certainly good luck in the next race. Certainly, you definitely got your work cut out for you, to which we definitely applaud. Certainly, these M2s can indeed be a lot to handle, but going into this final race, what's going to be your strategy to retain that top spot?
Well, this previous week, I put in a lot of laps going into this race, and it proved pretty successful. So I definitely just got to keep practicing and put my time in on this car.
Well, I've got to say a huge congratulations, and certainly that practice is indeed paying off. But the Haribo machine, the gummy bear himself, Colin Denner, ladies and gentlemen, with the race win.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we'll talk to you later. Let's see if you can do it again.
Hold on. I think we got one other question for Colin here before we let him go. So
yep, go
we got
for it.
Nobody else in here, but Colin, looks like your brother is in chat and he's let us know about your karting. But more interesting, unfortunately for us, your girlfriend, hearing her name is Lauren. Lauren, the lawnmower racer.
Yes.
We need to hear a little more about this. Who's got the bragging rights at home for the racing?
Well, certainly in the lawnmower division, she's got the bragging rights. She'll take me to school any day of the week. But when it comes to go-karts, it's the opposite way around. So we're doing a little bit of teaching each other and growing together as far as bringing karters into the lawnmower racing scene and then lawnmower races into the karting scene.
Excellent. I mentioned to Daniel during the race, we saw a couple of BMWs out in the grass. Looked like they were doing a little bit of lawn mowing maintenance here tonight. So maybe they can take some tips from your girlfriend Lauren. But congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Colin Denner, and we are going to try and quickly go over these results for you here in just one little hot minute. I do believe we got Ken Housel who's looking to try and get in the interview room as well. I do see you, Ken. Just give me 1 second here. Let's get this bit done just a second here first. And there you go. Rob, do the honors, please, sir.
Yeah, we just talked to the race winner, Colin Denner, and Ken Housel, who's coming up next, P2. Andrew Pilata, rounded out the podium in P3. Dylan Newhard, we saw in fourth. Michael Montello, the Superior, the Montello brothers tonight in fifth. Brian Carwile is going to finish in sixth. Chris Harp in seventh. Mike S. Leader in eighth. Will Robinson's in ninth. Marcus Pine in 10th. Tal Sadiq in 11th. Jack Chrissy 12th. Wally falls down to 13th. Will Long at 14th. Eddie Ketakarakis in 15th. Adam Kobach in 16th. Tom Radford, our last car on the lead lap, and then we get into Jonathan Crane, Louis Alesi, John Holloway, all a lap down, Zippy.
And yep, closing out the end of that field, we had Jarrett Page. I do believe he had a little bit of an incident as well. I did see an event notice for it. And then we had Anthony Montello there in 27. Kevin Zhu, sadly, absolutely destroying the front of that BMW in 23rd. Luke Cancer getting tied up as well in 24th. 25th, that guy sucked so hard he couldn't even make it to the grid. It's a shame we don't see Rob Campbell on here. I'm sure we got some criticism for that guy as well. But Shelby Martin in 26th as well. But definitely a very fun race. And I do believe these guys may indeed be in the warm-up. Certainly, these guys do heat races, or is it just me?
No, this is just 30-minute sprint, Zippy. 30 minutes.
That's it.
Sprint. Yeah, that's it. That's all.
I keep thinking, ladies and gentlemen, we do 2 leagues with an M2, and the last one I thought that we was going to get I thought we was going to get 3 rounds, and we got 2, and I'm still there, ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, maybe you should interview Ken at this point.
Well, Ken, welcome in. We saw you in a tight battle at the end, trying to put some pressure on Colin Denner. Unfortunately, you ran out of time, had to settle for second place, but how'd the race go for you overall?
Just talking to Colin, and it's like, man, I really wish I qualified better. It's like, yeah, there's just like, I don't know. I feel like Andrew and I both felt like we had more pace than Colin. Obviously, we were in the draft, so it's like hard to tell for sure. But it's like, anytime I got to run, it's like, I don't know. Like, the only way I'm going to make this happen is if I make the most aggressive move and just stick my nose in somewhere where it doesn't belong, and I hope Colin crashes instead of me. And I'm like, I'm not going to race somebody like that. So let's just drive around behind him, try to pressure him into mistakes, and he didn't really make any. So.
Yeah, we had mentioned earlier on when we were doing the race preview that this is the layout without any of the chicanes, and sometimes you lose a little bit of overtaking opportunities without the chicanes. You get the long runs through the straights. Did you feel that you kind of wasn't really a whole lot of opportunities to pass? You kind of had to, as you mentioned, kind of had to either force a mistake or hope for a mistake from the car ahead of you to try and maneuver anywhere up and down the field?
Yeah, it was, without the chicanes, the track is, in my opinion, more fun to drive, but takes away a couple passing opportunities, and these cars being such kind of pigs through some of the high-speed corners, like the left-hander before the hairpin, it's like you can't do anything there besides just drive the one line. So it's not like the GR86 or the Miata or even some of the small formula cars. You can go through there side by side and make things happen into the horseshoe thing, but certainly not in these things. So there's like a couple times I got to run, and it's like all I can do is lift to not compromise my own corner. So
yeah, they're a little dicey. They have a fair bit of power, but they're not the most maneuverable cars out there. But next week we head to Mid-Ohio. Favorite track of yours, not so favorite track of yours? Looking forward to it, Ken. How are you feeling about Mid-Ohio? I know it's generally one of those tracks that people either seem to really like or really hate. I myself, I like it. I've had a lot of success there, but a lot of my colleagues really despise it. So
it's interesting you say that, because it's one of my favorite tracks, and I just like doing laps there, and I've had a lot of success there. But these cars there, I feel like all the S's and Up Over Madness and such, they're probably going to be pretty harried especially on cold tires. And then it's going to be trying to survive the first few laps and then try to get runs through one and out of the keyhole, trying to get a run down the back straight. Otherwise, it has more passing opportunities than here, but there's a lot of the track that is so single file. It's going to be definitely a race of who makes the least mistakes again.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Well, you had a great race, Ken. I suspect we'll probably see you fighting for something up towards the top of the standings next week. And we'll give you a chance to do any shout outs here as the league and min, and then we'll let you head on your way.
Yeah, as I've said the prior weeks, thanks to everybody for showing up for these races. It's really fun having 20, 30 people here and going back and watching the broadcast and seeing everybody racing. It's tons of fun and lots of new faces this season, so that's even more fun. And obviously, big thanks to our sponsors for helping us put this on, and thanks to my wife, who is currently babysitting our nieces up in Long Island, so not home. So I'm home with the cat alone. So thanks to her, and thanks to you guys. So see you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you, Ken, and we'll catch you next week, hopefully up the top of the podium again.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ken Housel, the league admin, and certainly today's second place winner. And what an absolutely fantastic job! I've got to say, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to organise a league, and he's doing an incredible job. To which I'm both thankful and actually a little jealous as well. I do appreciate the hard work that goes into it here. But ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute belter it's been here tonight here at Oulton Park. Ladies and gentlemen, the international circuit with no chicanes, but of course a little bit of a biased opinion here with the resident Brit in the booth. Certainly it's not that often we get to go to a fantastic Canadian track, because I think there's only maybe one, negotiably two, depends on who you ask, but certainly an interesting race indeed. We've done results. We should probably do a little bit more from our sponsors as well. And I'm going to start it off with RP Performance. Ladies and gentlemen, they are located right in the heart of racing at Summit Point's Gasoline Alley. We was actually there a few weeks ago. RP is the only premier race car shop that specializes in both street and track Mazdas. So think like Spec Miata, ladies and gentlemen. RP Performance is known for its help-all attitude and works at getting cars back on track for a positive experience at all Summit Point events. In its 30 years, RP has accrued many wins and championships with various classes with all-age drivers under the RP Performance banner. In addition to track support and transport, RP is a full service shop, helping drivers with their individual racing and other track event needs. And you can find them at 103 Gasoline Alley. That sounds like my kind of street. Unit 12, Summit Point. Rob, I believe you've got one more to mention as well.
Yeah, our final sponsor for the evening is Belmont Classic Cars. Belmont's a family-owned classic and collector car dealership located in Eastern Ohio, where we're going next week. We mainly specialize in 1960s and 70s American muscle cars and other unique cars that take pride in taking you back to a simpler time with iconic classic rides. They started in 2017 and have sold cars across the USA and globally. They never sell anything that they wouldn't want their own collection. Owners Andy and Dana Mistack come by the love of their cars naturally, both of their fathers being avid car enthusiasts. Andy's dad was a Chevy guy, Dana's dad was a Ford guy, which made for some interesting family gatherings, no doubt. Outside the family business, our entire family has been involved in race for motocross, trophy trucks, and their new endeavor of road racing. With WDCR being such a welcoming group, they decided to commit and support the organization with a grateful honor and to sponsor such a great community promoting the sport they love.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, a huge thanks to our sponsors. But you know, we're going to bring this broadcast to a close, and I got to say, what absolutely fantastic racing action! Certainly, it wasn't the spiciest we've seen. These guys very well behaved today, and definitely a little bit disappointing for the Montello brothers. I did actually expect a bit more from them, in all honesty. But Michael Montello is still able to get that 5th place, albeit very peacefully. Certainly not as much of a battle going on. A newcomer here joins us. We see Dylan Newhard. Not only joins, but manages to secure a 4th place with the face of Nicolas Cage. I got a good glimpse while you were interviewing Ken Housel, and I got to say, if you're going to pick an actor to put on your car, I approve, but certainly Sofia Vergara would get a lot more screen time from me personally. Keep it clean. Keep it
showing
clean.
your bias there, Zippy. Showing your bias, but yeah, definitely the Montello brothers. I suspect we'll see them battling back up near the front next week, but. I don't know. Nicolas Cage, I think Keanu Reeves might rival him for face blastering on a car, our newly minted GR86 race car driver. But we saw a lot of the same suspects at the top of the standings this week. Mid-Ohio, going to be a somewhat similar track next week to this one, Zippy. Might have a little more overtaking opportunities, but it's going to be similar. You really need to qualify well to start up at the front of the pack to really maximize your potential for getting on the podium. So we'll see how that plays out next week.
Well, certainly, and I think you may have a little bit of a Keanu Reeves obsession because I think you made a John Wick reference in our last show together. Certainly, that's all right. Keanu Reeves is he's a badass dude. And yeah, Dylan Newhart confirming that I was indeed right. It was Nicolas Cage. So I'm going to take that as my own win. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning into Pit Road Productions. It's been an absolute pleasure. Certainly, I've really enjoyed having you guys on board and having Rob on board as well. And, you know, certainly, again, a little bit of a shout out for you guys as well. If you want us to interview you during the race, start hanging out in our Pit Road Productions Discord. There is a race chat in there for you. If you're in there, I consider you fair game. We'll drag you in while you're driving. Certainly, it will add even more to the show. We've done it before, it's gone well, and we take no responsibility if you bin it while talking to us. But certainly, we'll leave that, guys, to you. We'll leave that to you, the driving side to it anyway. But thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the booth, see him on the right-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rob Campbell. And thank you very much. We'll see you next week for more WDCR SCCA Virtual Racing League.